Welcome to the next in the series of the technical webinars. Today is another of the tri-border agents, particularly the Northern Territory agent, and we have three people who are involved in this, the development of this agent, which is Jeremy Conway from the department, and J.R. Sanchez, and Raphael Rafi from Systemic in Western Australia. It's a project of significance. It has a centralised system that tracks users as they move around. It's a collaborative effort across Western Australia, Northern Territory and South Australia, combining their information into one system to assist identification of users across each one of those particular jurisdictions. Now I'm going to hand over to Jeremy, who will take us through in more detail what was done in Northern Territory.
Thank you, Dan. I'm joining you guys on the line from the Northern Territory, and with me is J.R. Sanchez, and we're going to discuss how the NT implemented the Tri-Borders project and central schools system using the CIF-AU infrastructure. What we tried to do was use the existing data warehouse and business intelligence student reporting architecture where we could. All schools in the Northern Territory use a system called SAMS, which stands for the School Administration and Management System. This is a proprietary product called Integross, which is used throughout all Northern Territory government schools, and it's also used in various schools in WA. It's been customised to meet the unique requirements of the Northern Territory. The Northern Territory uses a product called Centris, which is from RM Education, and that basically is used to capture all the data from these decentralised SAMS instances. It is then used as the main source for the data warehouse, which is where all the cleansing, validation of data happens during the loading. It's the main integration point for student achievement, VET, behaviour, Northern Territory Curriculum Framework or NTCF, NAPLAN data, enrolment and attendance data, staff data and budget and expenditure data for the Northern Territory Department of Education and Training. In the data warehouse it stores both the current and historical versions of this data. It's based on a SQL Server 2008 Release 2 Enterprise Edition software platform, and we use Microsoft SSIS or SQL Server Integration Services for all ETL interactions which take place. For instance, the population of the data warehouse from Centris and the population of the data warehouse to the various data marts which are used as presentation layers for specific reporting users. DEP produces various data marts for specific reporting uses. Basically, this is where the business rules are implemented in the ETL which loads these data marts. They're optimized for reporting, and reporting can take place across multiple data marts. This data is then displayed for various other applications and products used by the department, such as Business Objects, which is our standard reporting suite, ESP, which stands for Electronic Student Profile, and that's a customised system so that student learning, enrolment and attendance details, homework and everything can be provisioned through a location which is available to both student and parents. We have Student Master Index, which is used for similar purposes as Tri-Border to assist the enrolment processes when students move between schools. We also have various extracts and external reports, which are provisions of data to federal agencies such as ASA for NAPLAN reporting, ABS and Centrelink for the SEAMS trial. We also have a number of standalone systems which use the data which comes from the SAMS system. When we undertook the implementation of the Tri-Borders project, we tried to use as much as possible of this existing infrastructure which is in place in the department. We still use SAMS, which collects the student identity, enrolment and attendance information. This is fed into Centris, which is then fed into the data warehouse and integrated with other data sets. That integration isn't necessarily required for the Tri-Borders project at present because we're only reporting on student identity, enrolment and attendance information. We then have all the business rules applied for the student activity data mart, and we tried to leverage as much as possible on those business rules rather than recreating extracts from scratch from the data warehouse. We had an ETL process which basically loaded a tri-borders extract database, which was specifically designed for this project, and we basically mirrored the SIP AU data model for all the objects used. JR will be talking about the ETL surrounding this. The NT-SIP agents, which are in use for this project, were created by RAF, and we have 3 agents which run on our servers at the moment: an attendance agent, a school agent, and a student agent. RAF will be going into more detail about that. In regards to the timing of the data delivery, we have schools in the Northern Territory are required to update SAMs at the end of every week. The centrist extracts created by each of the school SAM systems are sent in on a weekly basis, and this is staggered throughout the week for various schools and geographic locations. Due to the high number of small remote schools in the Northern Territory using satellite links, we're not guaranteed 100% of all the extracts each week. Generally, we say that there can be a 2-week lag for all schools' data to be updated into the data warehouse. The student activity data warehouse loads and data mart loads happen on a nightly basis. The ETL process that JR has built to populate the tri-border extract database runs upon completion of those jobs. The NT-SIP agents are scheduled to interrogate the database every 12 hours for new data. And now JR is going to talk about the ETL process, which is used to populate the tri-border extract database for the Northern Territory.
Thanks, Jeremy. I'm just going to do a brief overview of the ETL development. The main task of the NT-SIP ETL is to process the student activity data to comply with the SIP specification. A number of mapping tables were created to map student activity fields against the SIP fields to get the NT data to comply. For example, country of birth codes. The SQL hash bytes function was used and converted to nvarchar to generate the unique SIP compliant ref IDs. An audit ID column was also added to each table to keep track of the data changes. The NT agents use this to check what data has been updated or is new since the last SIP extract. Thanks.
JR, do you have a rough idea how much work in, let's say, roughly in days it has taken you to write that extract and design the databases in a way that they now work together with the agent? It's just to figure out, the effort taken to get to the staging database, the extract database, versus then the development of the agent using that staging database. Because we have that comparison for all the other states that have done the similar thing. So we get actually a feeling how much is the agent development versus the database background development.
The development of the ETL took about 1 week, with another 2 weeks of testing and implementation. Now Raf's going to go through the NT agents. Thanks, Raf.